Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online, and since I'm still basically in preparation mode for the new structures, which again hopefully will start to come out this year, I don't have a lot of fancy gameplay or anything like that to show, so I'm going to make another discussion video. And this topic is decently controversial, but it's also a pretty hot topic. Is EVE Online dying? We see threads on this constantly pop up on the forums and in Reddit as well, and we have to be honest, the sub numbers, or not necessarily the sub numbers, we don't know those exactly, but the login numbers have not been good this summer. That's just the truth of it. Now I'll start by saying that I don't have the numbers. I don't think anyone actually has all the numbers needed except CCP, so all of this is going to be my opinion, but it is a hot topic, and let's show you guys an example as to why it is so hot. If we go to the forums and we go to the general discussion where most of the activities on the forums, you see here the top thread decline in numbers starting to turn into rapid decline. This actually already that's the last post. This was posted quite a while ago, but it's a discussion that gets 40 pages in replies, so it is definitely something that is part of the worry, I guess, of the player base at the moment. So let's give you guys my views on it. First of all, I'm not going to be a complete naysayer. Is it possible that EVE Online will be dying at some point? Yeah, I absolutely think that that is possible, but do I think it will be soon? I don't think so. The fact that we see declining login numbers, there are a number of reasons that are changes that CCP has done to the game, which especially has been very harsh to alts, and it is summertime as well. Keep in mind, of course, we are very low for despite the fact that it is summertime, but it's not just players or people leaving the game and just saying goodbye to EVE Online. So I don't think that the decline in login numbers is such a strong indication. It would of course give us a lot more information if CCP would come out with actual sub numbers, but I don't think that because there's only 16,000 people online somewhere in August, that means that the game is dying. The reason that the game would be dying, in my opinion, would be a financial one. If EVE Online would no longer bring in enough income for CCP, and if CCP would start to be in trouble, then yes, I would say that there could be a danger that EVE Online could die at some point. The reason why I don't think that it's such a problem at the moment is the New Eden store. While I agree that there's probably a lower number of subscriptions at the moment, honestly, the new skins I think is good, and probably a pretty large revenue stream that CCP has found within EVE Online. So we don't have any numbers. Again, I would love for CCP to come out with more numbers, then we would know exactly where we stand, but my feeling of this is that yeah, the skins are not doing badly. It is something that I think a lot of people do spend money on, although personally I'm not one of them. Yeah, ship skins, I think they're actually being pretty successful, and that this could make up quite a bit of the lost ground when it comes to sub numbers. The login numbers also don't necessarily indicate that many fewer subs. It's very much possible that a lot of people are no longer logging in that regularly because they don't have to anymore for skill training online, if it's an alt that they don't use that much, or simply because, well, you can't really use the Iceboxer software anymore, in the sense that you can't give have one keystroke give commands to multiple clients anymore, and the EVE Online player base is actually very mature. This used to be allowed, and a lot of players did use this in very massive numbers, tens of accounts used at the same time, but in general, actually the EVE Online players understand fair play, understand why that would become a bannable offense, and so they're just not doing it anymore, and that does mean that it's a lot of alt activity that is being brought out of the game because of this change. But I think everyone agrees in the long term that is actually healthier for EVE Online and for its economy, that they don't allow that huge multiplier of having 10 accounts make you that much more money stay in the game. So I would say yeah, the login numbers have not been good, but I'm not that worried personally that EVE Online is dying right now. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you if EVE Online will be around in 5 or 10 years. I certainly hope so, and I think it has a chance. But like for this year, next year, the year after that, honestly, I'm still very positive about the game. Another aspect of this, which I think is rarely touched on because all the attention is of course focused on EVE Online, it's EVE players discussing the situation of the game, is what's happening in the MMO industry in general. I think MMOs are the part that's really struggling, and what I'm personally looking at is that EVE Online is still that one unique MMO where everyone plays in a single world. That's the only basically true sandbox MMO out there, and so it actually still has a very good chance to push through the current malaise. I also think that despite the lower login numbers, what we're seeing here is much better than what we see in most other MMOs. If you look up the sub decline from World of Warcraft, like 6 months after their expansion, that was something that was never seen before, way worse than just lower average online numbers during the summertime here in EVE Online. Of course, they come from a lot further, but honestly, that was a pretty big drop in sub numbers. Then we have WildStar forced into free-to-play. We have Elder Scrolls Online forced from sub to being buy to play as well. And then now, even this week, or was it last week, we have a buy to play MMO, which is Guild Wars 2, that gave people a free-to-play option. And so all of this, I think, does indicate to me that it's actually the MMO genre itself that's under pressure, and not so much a single game like EVE Online. And if seen from that light, again, I do think that EVE Online has enough uniqueness, has a strong enough player base that it could actually weather this storm and coming out of this reinforced if people actually really do start to drop off from other games. The way I've seen it described the most is that they're losing ground to stuff like MOBAs, to the card games like what Blizzard's been doing. That's really where MMOs are losing a lot of ground against, and yeah, it's just a part of it. It's not really an EVE Online problem in general. I think it is an MMO problem in general. How many MMOs with a sub are there still left? There's World of Warcraft, there's EVE Online, I think there's Final Fantasy, and I think that's pretty much it, right? Also, if I look at the Steam page for free-to-play games, it used to be full of MMOs right there with the most popular ones. You had Rift, you had what was it called, Lord of the Rings Online. Those were free-to-play MMOs but that did really well. Now you have to go to page 2 or page 3 to find your first MMO. So I think the real problem is not EVE Online itself. The real problem could be the MMO genre itself, which is under pressure by new forms of games. Also, yeah, definitely Minecraft, a sandbox game that has drawn so many players. It's definitely still the top on YouTube at the moment. And I think it's much wider than just, oh, we have bad login numbers this summer for EVE Online, EVE is dying. I'm not seeing that right now. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly share this my thoughts on this with you guys. And I also have 2 questions, so if you're still around at this point in the video, my 2 questions would be, what are your thoughts on the state of EVE Online? Do you think it's dying, or do you think that it could, it's basically on its decline, or do you think that it could come back and that there is still life left in EVE Online, and possibly, the ambition that CCP has always stated was that EVE Online would last forever. I definitely, that would be my hope as well. I would love to still be playing EVE Online 5, 10 and even more years from now. But what are your thoughts on that? And then the second one, it's more to do with the general feeling of what's happening in the gaming industry and with MMOs in general. I would say if EVE Online were not available for you, what's the other game, what's the first game that you would start playing instead? Is it another MMO, or yeah, are you going to Heroes of the Storm, to some Hearthstone? Would the first thing be a completely different game? I would love to have that information. I know that outside of EVE Online I play a lot of Hearthstone, well, a lot. I do the daily quests and I try to see how far I can get as a free-to-play player, but I also play Path of Exile and Banish, some smaller games here and there. I've been thinking about checking out Guild Wars 2 now that it's free-to-play, but honestly, a second MMO, I don't see me putting that much energy into it, and so I actually think that if a lot of people say, no, my second game is maybe a MOBA with a couple of friends, maybe like War Thunder like games, maybe just some Minecraft or something completely different, then it would be an indication that the real problem is not so much EVE Online itself, but the MMO genre that could be under pressure at the moment. Anyways, there you go. Also a little bit of a test of the audio. Let me know if that one is still as bad as previously. I lowered the gain on the microphone and I think that's a big part of the problem. Although I am in a new room, like right in the middle of it, so a little bit of echo will still be showing up as well. If you're still here, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.